Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is often regarded as one of the most difficult NES games ever made. Turtle Fever was at its peak when the game debuted in 1989, so it's no surprise that it was massively popular. Every kid I knew with an NES had this cartridge, and none of us could beat it. Well, today on You Can Beat Video Games, I'm here to dispel the myths surrounding this game's difficulty. Despite the thematic similarities, this is not Battletoads. Seriously, if you want to beat Battletoads, I hope you have game cheating. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a game that you can finish with a little bit of practice and the skills I'll reveal in this video. Let's get started. So you start in the overworld as Leonardo. There's a manhole cover right in front of you. You can go in that, but don't. It's not the way to go. Instead, you need to go into the third manhole. Definitely avoid the steamroller, it will kill you in one hit, and attack those foot soldier guys when you see them. Down here in the sewer, Leonardo is actually pretty good at this point in the game, so just keep him on, attack any guys that are in front of you, and don't go backwards. Enemies respawn if you walk backwards. Now, pretty soon we're going to reach the first boss, Bebop, and we want to press start and switch to Donatello. Donatello is by far the best turtle. He does twice as much damage as Leonardo or Michelangelo does, and about 50% more than Raphael. You can just kind of stand there and smash Bebop without really even worrying about taking damage, and you'll just beat him. So Donatello is that good. Come up here in the overworld to this passage, and this is our first pizza stop. You can grab that pizza, exit the level, come back, the pizza is back. It's really important in this game to manage the health of your turtles. You never want to have one of your turtles die. Unless you get killed by some kind of instant death hazard, which there really aren't very many of. The only way the game will end is if all of your turtles are down to a tiny bit of health, and then they'll get knocked off one by one. So you really need to keep Dawn healthy, and that's why I usually switch to Raph right after that little boss. This part is a spot where it's very easy to take a lot of damage, and Raph does the second most amount of damage in the game, so he's actually pretty handy here. He's the only one other than Dawn that can kill these red dragonflies in a single hit. So that makes him very effective in this part. Now if you fall below the treadmill, you can just jump out, it's not a problem. We want to head up here, kill those red dragonflies. Most of the time you want to avoid the enemies in this game. They're not going to follow you. We just need to get to where the boss is. Now when you go in front of the second yellow door, Rock City will appear. Hurry up and get on top of those boxes where you came from. Crouch down and wait for him to get close. As soon as Rock City comes close, start mashing the button. Whenever he jumps, he could get hit by your staff. Now, it might not happen every time, and there's a little bit of a rhythm to it, but if you just mash the button, eventually you will kill Rock City, and you won't take any damage. There isn't a pizza refill spot right at the beginning of Area 2, so it's very important that you keep your guys healthy at this point in the game. If you were to die sometime in Area 1 or 2, I would just restart the game, just reset. Alright, well, we saved April, and we are moving on to Area 2. I like that Area 2 is very straightforward. There's not a lot of overworld stuff here, you just go right in. Leonardo is very good here. He can kill these enemies in one hit, and he has a very fast attack. Now, if you haven't figured it out, Michelangelo is hot garbage in this game. The only time you really want to use Michelangelo is to put him in situations where you know you're going to take damage, and you're not worried about combat. He has the same bad attacks as Leonardo, so he doesn't do a lot of damage, but he has worse range, and he can't attack downwards through platforms either. Yeah, Michelangelo's best ability is for the swimming stage, which we're going to get to soon, and driving the party van. Alright, here's a half pizza up here. Power up your weakest turtle. Now, we're going to get to the swimming area very soon where we have to defuse the bombs, and it's very important that we have several turtles with a lot of health when we get to that area, so make sure to conserve the health of your teammates. You're almost guaranteed to take some damage in the water level, so this part's pretty important that you conserve health here. This chainsaw guy's not actually the boss. As soon as you clear all the enemies on the screen, the boss will appear, and you can actually even destroy that guy's projectiles as Dawn. So now right up here, that door above us is the way out, but you can't just jump up here. You have to go to the right through this fun house of monsters. I usually keep Dawn on here, especially because there is a full pizza to the far right, and you probably want to use that to heal up your weakest person. Now, if everybody has full health, don't even go to the right, just climb the ladder, because if you were to miss this jump that's coming up, well, you might take some damage then, and you'd be happy that the pizza is available. Alright, so we're coming up to probably the most difficult jump in the entire game. It's the jump right before you get to the door where we leave here. Now, the trick to it is to walk all the way to the edge of the platform and to jump hard. You have to like hold the button down and definitely hold left. You want to kind of bounce off the ceiling. If you don't bounce off the ceiling, if you do like a shallow jump, you won't make it and you have to go to the right and go back through again. It's not good. So that's the trick to beating that part. Walk to the edge and press the button hard. Well, once you're in the swimming stage, this is where Michelangelo really shines. Now, don't worry too much about the timer. If you follow this path that I'm about to do, the timer will not be a problem, so try to avoid taking some damage at the beginning. Definitely swim up at that area and avoid that seaweed in the bottom. It's an instant death hazard. We're going to come over here to the right. Try to avoid this spinning wheel. If you take a little bit of damage, that's okay. Here's another bomb. Defuse it. Now, after this lightning, we're going to go down. It's very important. If you miss this bomb, the entire thing is messed up. So head over to the left. Stay far away from that seaweed. That's the kind that can instantly kill you. And then head back to the right after you defuse it. Alright, the wheel is a little bit tricky, but go back up and head to the right. Now, there's a very strong current here in the water, so it might help you get through the lightning before you defuse the bomb, but you might as well just get hit on your way out. Now, quickly switch to whatever turtle you have that has the most health that's not Donatello. Alright, this part, you can easily take a ton of damage here, so make sure to be able to pause and switch turtles if you're going to die. You do not want to lose a turtle here. You'll have to start the whole thing over. Although the bombs that you defused will already be defused, but that's not super helpful. Alright, the fourth lightning here is pretty hard to avoid, so you might just want to go through it. And head over to the right to defuse another bomb. This lightning is also very difficult to avoid on the way back, so you might just want to go right through it. And there will be another bomb here to the right. Once again, you'll go back the way you came, and don't worry about the lightning, just go through. Go down to the bottom and stay away from that instant death seaweed. The other stuff only deals damage, but that kind will kill you, and this is the last bomb, so if you're low on time, just go through the lightning if you have to. And that's Area 2. Unfortunately, Area 3 represents a serious difficulty spike in the game. A lot of people get hung up on Area 3 the first time they play it, but we're going to handle it pretty well. We're about to take control of the Turtle Party van. Just walk right into it. Now, it comes equipped with a weak weapon that you can use, but we need to get missiles, so we need to go into this building right nearby. If we don't have missiles, there's not too many other places we could actually go, so this is the spot that we need to start in. Use Donatello or Leonardo here. Donatello is probably the best against those fire-breathing guys that detach their head after you hit them once, but Leonardo is maybe more effective against all the other enemies in this set. Now, the enemies could change at any time and turn into the fire fiends instead of this enemy set, So be prepared for that if it happens. We're going to collect a pizza slice over here and then head back to the left on the top shelf. There's going to be a full pizza here soon, so keep in mind who needs a full pizza. But the most important thing that we need to get out of here are the missiles. We need at least 8 missiles to get through this area, and we're going to get a pack of 10 right now. So clear all the enemies here, and we're going to want to jump up through that small gap. It looks like we can't make this jump, but if you jump and hold left right at the peak of your jump, you'll kind of clip through the side of that platform and you'll be able to go up to the left. Now, the way the game wants you to do this is to head to the right and make this really difficult jump. So this is a lot easier. You'll be able to attempt it a lot more times with less consequences, although if you do head to the left too much, you may respawn an enemy. Just kill that enemy in that case and continue on. But after you've tried it a couple times, there it is. You want to just walk over this single space gap. Do not hit the jump button, you'll fall through. Your turtles can actually step over a small gap like that just by pressing to the right over it. And here is that full pizza that I had promised. We're going to probably need to repeat this another time so that we could re-energize a lot of our turtles with the full pizza, and it wouldn't be bad to have another set of missiles so that we could use them against the steamroller enemies on the overworld. Like I said, you need to have 8 missiles to destroy barriers, so if you only have 10 and you accidentally shoot off 2 of them, well, then you can't use another missile at all. Feel free to repeat this one as many times as you need to. If you feel confident, there's a much easier pizza station a little bit later in Area 3, but it's probably worth trying to make sure that at least 3 of your 4 turtles are powered up at this point, especially Dawn and Leonardo. We're actually going to really use Leonardo in one of these areas up ahead. He's probably the most effective turtle for that spot. Alright, once you have 20 missiles or more, go in the party van and we're going to head to the left and down. There's the first purple barrier that we need to shoot, and we're going to head all the way over to the right and then down again, another barrier. Now, these buildings here, this is a spot where you can pick up the scroll weapon. This is the earliest area where you can get the scrolls, and they're the most powerful weapon in the game, but I don't think it's very important to get them now. Like, what if you died later? Or what if you accidentally pick up another sub-weapon and it overwrites the scroll? You don't really need the scrolls at this point in the game, so I think it'll just save a lot of time to kind of skip over them for now, and we will worry about scrolls later in the game when it's particularly important to have them. Now, that was a pretty good shot with the missile there. It's not important that you be that good. And the little foot soldiers, you can just run them over. I definitely recommend driving the car with Raphael or Michelangelo since they're a little bit more expendable than Leonardo and Donatello here. And you don't take a lot of damage from the steamrollers when you're in the van, so it's not that important that you avoid them. I said that jump at the end of Area 2 was the most difficult jump in the game. Well, this is going to be the most difficult platforming sequence in the game. None of these individual jumps I think is as difficult as that one at the end of Area 2, but combined, this is kind of a tricky part here. You're going to want to keep Dawn on for a moment so that you can kill any enemies below you here. And once we get to the platform below us, you should switch to Leonardo. I may have switched a little bit early there, it was a little bit dangerous. Now you're going to do small tap jumps here. Just tap the button and let it go, and be ready to attack when you land on the other side. Step over the small gaps and do a tap jump. Small tap jump, step over the gaps. Anybody needs a pizza, you should grab that half pizza now. And we're going to wait for this guy to just walk over the edge and fall into the water. There he goes. Small tap jump. Small tap jump again, be ready to attack. Step over the gaps, and then we're going to wait for this guy to fall into the water, and that's pretty much the end of the sequence. Now, if you fall into the water, you're going to have to repeat this section again, and that can be very frustrating, but stay with it. Just walk off the edge there, be ready to attack, and wait for this guy to fall off into the water, and then you're safe to jump over and get the full pizza. Now, this is one of my favorite pizza stations in the game, because you can just walk back in there, go down the ladder, get the pizza, and come right back out. Super effective. Make sure everybody is at full health, because we're actually about to encounter the second most difficult boss in the entire game. And he's going to be in this section here. Alright, I like to use Dawn here so that you can attack through the platforms and use his range to maybe take out a couple enemies before you go down there. That looks clear. Jump down, just take out anything in front of you. Move forward. It would be nice if you got a sub-weapon for Michelangelo, because his regular attack is so terrible. So if Mike has a sub-weapon, and then I usually try to get one for Raph and then Leonardo. But if you see a sub-weapon and pick it up by accident like I did with these boomerangs, well, you know, that's something that happens. Now head on through, we're almost to the boss. Jump up here, take out this fire guy. Could be a different enemy. And climb the ladder. Alright, now this jump looks kind of tricky, but it's really not. Just wait for that guy to walk away and jump. It's actually pretty easy, and here's the boss. Now, if you have a full-powered Michelangelo or Raphael, you may want to use them here, because this boss has two forms. So you might think that you got him when you run his energy meter out, but then he switches to a second form. And the second form you really need Donatello for, because this guy flies, and you can just attack him upwards with the bow staff. Oh, let's switch to Dawn. Oh, have the boomerangs on, just want his staff. And we've saved Splinter, and that is Area 3. Now, if you thought Area 3 was large, Area 4 is enormous. The map can be fairly intimidating, but there are a number of different routes that all lead to the same end. I'm going to show you the path that I think is the safest way to go, that will give us a lot of extra pizzas to eat. And it all starts here with sub-level number 1. You can see they're all numbered right next to the door, which is convenient, so you'll always know you're in the right place. Get this pizza, exit back out the door that you came in, and make sure to come back and fill up all your turtles' health before you get going here in Area 4. The combat really intensifies in this area. You'll notice that Leonardo is not going to be as effective anymore, because you're going to have to fight a lot of these red dragonfly enemies. And so you'll definitely want to equip him with a sub-weapon if you can find one. We're probably going to get a bunch of the scroll sub-weapons when we reach Area 5, so if you have sub-weapons, feel free to use them whenever you want here in Area 4. The boss at the end is super easy, so there's no reason to save anything, and even if some of your turtles die in this level, I would press on, because you could always just lose a couple guys in Area 5 and do a continue. You need to get that rope item. It's the blue square with the white stick figure. I'm not sure why the game designers included this item, but it is mandatory to progress through this stage. Alright, you'll come up here, and you may want to switch to Raph. Raph can take out these red dragonflies in one hit, and you're going to want to use him a lot more in this area. He also can kill these jumping boomerang guys in 3 hits. Now here's where you need the rope. As soon as you walk up to this post, you'll automatically use it. Just press right, hold right and walk across. Second rope. 1, 2, 3. Hold right. And the third rope right here. I'm not sure why they decided to include that, but it's something that you need to do. There's going to be a half pizza coming up, so if any of your turtles were damaged here, Now's a good time to re-energize one of them. I'm going to give it to Leo, it's up here on the top. Take this guy out, get the half pizza, attack these enemies from above. Might as well switch to Dawn. Yeah. We're going to come down here. You're going to want to be Dawn here so that you can attack this jumping boomerang guy before you move down to the next level. Try to just avoid these robots. The lasers that they shoot deal a good bit of damage, but they're not too difficult to avoid. Go down the ladder, attack this guy from above. 1, 2. Head to the right. And that's the end of the first sub-level here in Area 4. Once we go through the door, we'll emerge in the Overworld. Sub-level 2 will be right above us. Here it is. This is a good place to switch to Raph, or use Leo or Michelangelo with a sub-weapon equipped. If you don't have sub-weapons, I would stick with Raph. Try to avoid the boomerang guys for the most part, but you can easily take out the dragonflies and the laser enemies. Head down here, and we're going to want to switch to Dawn to take out this sub-boss by jumping above him and attacking straight down through the platform. Alright, excellent. More of the sub-weapon that Leonardo is using, so that's helpful. About 1 in every 25 enemies will drop a sub-weapon. You all know what it is. It doesn't happen every time, but that's about the frequency that you'll see them, so you are likely to see some kind of sub-weapons fairly frequently if you are killing the enemies. Like I said, feel free to let them rip in here. And that is sub-level 2. Now here's the first fork. I like to go up at the fork and go into number 3. It's a single room that's very easy to clear with Donatello. You can actually just walk across those gaps at the bottom or just jump over them if you're feeling uncomfortable. I like to use Mike there just in case I end up in the spikes. The spikes are not instant death, so they will damage you, but they won't immediately kill you. Head over and down into number 6. Have Dawn attack down to take out the boomerang guy, and start heading to the right with Raph or one of your other guys that has a sub-weapon. Take out the lasers. Continue to the right. You can take damage from the spikes. It's not that big of a deal, but you do mostly want to avoid them. The lasers are extremely weak. Any of the turtles can deal enough damage to take out the lasers in one hit. And that's number 6. Now we're going to head up. There's only one way we can go here. And that's going to be path 8, which is another single room. You can either kill these guys or just kind of avoid them and move forward. It doesn't feel necessary to go down there and get that. I'm just going to head forward. And you do need to jump back onto the treadmill to get up to the ladder. Perfect. Alright, we're going to want to go to the manhole above us here, and that's room 9, which has a mini-boss. Very easy one. Just attack him from above with Dawn, as we always do. And this takes us to the big airstrip. Now, if you lost any of your turtles, going to want to head over to the end of the big airstrip, all the way to the right, and you will be able to find your dead friend. And they will be strung up in the middle. You can walk down there and pick them up, but then you should head back this way. If you have somebody that does a lot of damage on them, you might just want to have them die so that you can go over there and get them back with full health. But they would lose any sub-weapons that they had equipped at the time. Alright, number 12. said, use sub-weapons. Very good place for them. It's very important that you're killing enemies in one hit. It's difficult to hit enemies twice. They have a slight invincibility after you hit them. And right here is an invisible pizza. So right above that bouncing guy, take your lowest health turtle, jump, and the pizza will appear. Collect it. Definitely don't want to miss that pizza. Now with all these lasers on the ladder, it's kind of difficult to use that one to just keep coming back and getting it. So I wouldn't consider it a pizza station, but it's important to get it at least that one time. Head straight down through number 15. We're going to go on the upper treadmill here. The bottom is a dead end. Well, it's possible to get out of, but you have to walk through spikes. Alright, stay on top. There is a full pizza right below us, and this is why I like this route. There are a lot of full pizzas if you go this way. Alright, you want to get out to the left and back up onto the treadmill. Take out that laser guy. And we're going to come to another instant death hazard here, the lava. Make sure to kill all the enemies before attempting to jump over the lava, because if anything hits you and you fall in there, you die. So yeah, make sure that you're going to clear the lava, and make sure to hold right when you land the jump and attack those lasers before they fire on you. Alright, now at the very top of the screen and to the right, we'll enter number 17, and this is the final sub-level of Area 4. It also has the nastiest instant death trap in the entire game, so this one can get a little bit dicey. Get ready for it. It's not that important that you manage the health as much in this part as it is in the rest of the game, because the boss at the end of this is just so easy. But we got to get past this trap. Now, in this room, we can practice. So you're going to want to walk over to the left and make sure to let go of the left or right arrow when you walk through that small gap to fall down. If you hold it, you're going to walk straight over. And in the next room, you'll see why it's important. If you touch any of these things, you die. It's very easy to lose all of your turtles here if you're not careful. You die, you die, you die. And you may need to use a continue at this point, which would take you back to the beginning of Area 4, and that would be really unfortunate. I recommend practicing in this room until you're sure that you can make it in one attempt. So you're going to head down, to the left, to the right, down. That was actually very dangerous. Head to the left, the right, you want to just drop off, that's it. And if you make it here, this is the boss. This boss is the Big Mouser. If you have Dawn, select him, but it's not actually that important. I'm going to show you a strategy. You'll never get hit. Just run straight underneath the Big Mouser and wait for him to open his mouth, and you should see an orange orb when he opens it wide enough. As soon as you see it, pause the game. Now when you unpause, his mouth is closed, but you can still damage him. Now if he opens his mouth again, pause the game. Attack, 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 pause the game. Attack, 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 and you'll notice the Big Mouser pretty much never attacks you. So you can easily beat him with any turtle by doing that. You may have to jump and attack him, but very easy. And we're on to Area 5. Area 5 is all about preparation. We're about to fight the most difficult boss in the game, and then we're going to go into Area 6, which makes Area 4 look easy. So the first thing we need to do is replenish all of our energy. This building down here in the bottom of the map is the easiest way to do that. There's a half pizza over to the right. And as long as you have 3 of the 4 turtles remaining, you're in good shape here. Now, if you're down to your last guy, you might want to just sacrifice him, but you can kill these blocks in the bottom of the screen here and go down the ladder, and you'll be able to save one of your other turtles. So, hurry up, keep repeating this section until everybody has 100% full health, and then we're going to go and get scrolls. Scrolls are the most powerful weapon in the entire game, so they're going to upgrade your bad characters and make them awesome. You're going to have 4 Donatellos on your team if you have a whole bunch of scrolls, and this building is an easy place to pick some up. So we're going to head over here to the right. Dawn or Raph are very effective at taking out these enemies. And when you get to the far right, you're going to want to clear all the enemies in the room and then climb the ladder. Now, you can't jump onto ladders in this game, and you can't attack while you're on a ladder. So this is actually a pretty interesting trick. If you just climb all the way to the top, you can stand on the top of this ladder, and then you can attack. Now you can get the scroll easily. Do not jump straight down the middle here, or you'll see what will happen. Watch this. You'll take a bunch of damage. You actually want to jump to the right, because that's where all the enemies cluster. Be careful not to pick up sub-weapons if you're already holding scrolls, and depending on your level of confidence, you may want to get 40 or 60 scrolls for the 3 turtles that are not named Donatello. And don't be afraid to go back and eat that half pizza to refill your energy if you take damage in here. I'm only going to get 20 scrolls per turtle because I would like to show you just what happens if we mess up in Act 6 and we lose all of our scrolls because we have to continue. So I'm going to show you a backup plan, but the easiest way to get through the game is to get a bunch of scrolls and then start using them. So now we're going to go back, make sure we refill all of our health, and there are 3 places where the boss could potentially be in Area 5. And it's determined by a random generation that happens when you press start at the beginning of the game. Now, there's a very lucky position where the Technodrome could be hiding, and that's in the upper right. So we're going to come up here, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope that the Technodrome is at the bottom of this cave. Now, when you're in these caves, you just want to keep heading down whenever possible. Let's head down to the bottom. Just break through these blocks. Don't worry about too many of the enemies. Continue down the ladder. And at the bottom, there's going to be a door on the right. Now, inside the door could either be an empty cave, that's what we got, or it could be the Technodrome. So if you see a blue floor with a black background, you did it. You found the Technodrome, and we're going to get to the strategy about that. First, we need to climb back out of the cave, and it's a little bit more difficult than going down to the bottom. So you may need to refill your health immediately after each one of these attempts. Now, here's another position that the Technodrome could be, and that's manhole cover right below me, but I'm gonna guess that it's in the 3rd position, and the reason for that is usually I just hit the start button right away when I begin the game, and so typically that's what the random generation is going to be set at. And so I would probably bet good money that the Technodrome is going to be over here in this manhole, but usually it's worth checking that easy one just in case, because you're going to probably take damage on the way to the bottom here. Use your scrolls liberally, especially if you have like 40 or 60 of them. You only need 8 to kill Shredder, although you'll probably be happy to have a whole bunch of them when you get to Act 6, so maybe don't use all of your scrolls, but you should be able to do pretty well if Use maybe 20 or so from each character. And whenever you have an opportunity to move downward, take that ladder down. Don't keep going to the right. Alright, hopefully this time we're going to find the Technodrome. We're going to go through the door, and we're going to see a black background with a blue floor. I took a lot of damage on Mike there. It's unfortunate. But we want to show you that backup strategy in Area 6 anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Head over to the right. You do want to conserve health as much as possible here if you can. That's why we try that easier path first. It's really nice if we can get to the Technodrome without taking hardly any damage at all. Alright, here it is. Cross your fingers. Okay, we did it. Now choose Dawn, and you're going to want to duck. The electricity won't hit you if you're crouching. As soon as it ends though, we're going to want to jump up onto the treadmill and attack that gun. Get rid of the left gun first. Then we need to attack that hatch that the foot soldiers are coming out of, or the gun on the right. Now, the gun on the right will kind of shift off screen sometimes, but that hatch is always going to be there. Feel free to use your scrolls and take out both of those targets. And also be sure to get rid of any foot soldiers that are still on the screen. Stay on the treadmill, you don't want to get attacked by the electricity. And keep going for that foot soldier hatch. It can be destroyed. You can actually destroy the turrets that make the electricity as well. But once you get rid of the two guns and the hatch, you can easily attack the eye, and you don't have to worry too much about taking damage. So at this point, it's a formality. We're going to get through it. And once the Technodrome goes down, we're going to go inside. And this is the final level. Are you ready? Now, Area 6, hopefully we're going to see foot soldiers when we enter here, and not flying rocket pack guys. Let's see what happens. Unfortunately, the enemies are a little bit random, as they have been for the entire game, and it looks like we took a lot of damage, so I'm going to show you what happens if you die here, and you have to use a continue. Hopefully you have some continues, because this part can be pretty difficult. Now, if you're doing good on health and you have a lot of scrolls, just take it to them with the scrolls, but I'm going to show you what the backup strategy is. So either way, this is the way that you're going to go, but if you have the scrolls, turn them on and start using them. So look, this time we have foot soldiers. It's going to be a lot easier. I'm going to start out with Dawn because there is going to be a full pizza that we can access coming up very soon. Just kill the enemies in front of you, do not turn back, and avoid any enemies that might take more than 1 or 2 hits to kill. Especially those rocket pack guys. Those guys are extremely dangerous. Alright. We're going to come to a ladder here on the left, and we're going to take it down. We could take the ladder up. That's kind of a longer route, and I think this way is just going to get us there a lot faster, so it's easier. Keep heading to the right, and we're going to hit that full pizza. Now, Dawn or Scrolls are the only ones that can kill the whirligig enemies, which we're probably going to see here in a minute. It's still the red dragonflies. Down the ladder. Oh, there's the whirligigs. Now, I would switch to Mike or Raph here because we're definitely going to take some damage in this room. You need to go down that small gap, and there's a spike pit right underneath. Head to the left. Do not go down the ladder. And we're just trying to avoid most of the enemies here, especially the rocket pack guys. Alright, so this is the second part of Area 6. Head over to the left. Unfortunately, you will not be able to get that full pizza That's available if you take a different route. We just want to go down here. And we can head to the right. Raph can take out those red dragonflies if those are the enemies that you're facing here. Mostly avoid the other enemies though. And we're gonna see, we need to go down here, but we want to go across to the right first and pick up this invincibility icon. This way we'll be invincible until we get to the last and most difficult part of the entire game. This is the corridor of death, the highway to hell. If you have scrolls, use them now. You want to avoid those rocket pack guys. You can kind of crouch down when they fly over you and then hurry to the right. But the corridor starts to get more and more narrow, and at a certain point it's going to get narrow another time, and that's when we're going to have to turn and face any enemies that are on the screen and kill them. So here it is right here. So any rocket pack guys that are on the screen now, you have to kill them because they are going to follow you into that corridor and mess you up. So try to group them together and just attack. And now kill that whirligig, and as soon as you see that rocket pack guy, stop and crouch. Then kill the whirligig, stop and crouch, move forward, kill the whirligig, stop and crouch. As long as you do that and you wait for the rocket pack guy to fly off the screen onto the right, you won't have to fight them at all. So they alternate. Whirligig, kill it, stop and crouch. Whirligig, kill it, stop and crouch. Just go slow through this part. Kill, stop, crouch. Kill a whirligig. Stop and crouch. And that's the end of that corridor. There'll be another whirligig here, and you'll climb a ladder, and we're gonna have to face one more rocket pack guy before our final confrontation with Shredder. If you have scrolls, turn them on. You definitely need to have Donatello alive to fight Shredder if you don't have scrolls. So whatever you do, do not lose Dawn. If he has half of a health, you should be able to beat Shredder without getting hit. Alright, head over, and here he is. So jump over to the right platform and wait for Shredder to fully materialize. As soon as he does, you want to hit him with the bow staff. You need to knock him off that left platform, and then he'll just keep jumping at you from the bottom. Each time he jumps, hit him and he'll fall back down. You can also do this with scrolls. If you don't have scrolls or Donatello, you're probably in trouble. He has a gun that can devolve you back down to regular turtle form, which essentially just one hit kills you. But if you're Donatello, Shredder is super easy. And that's the game. You did it. I'm not sure how I feel about this ending. It's pretty cheesy. I assume that they must have used Shredder's devolving gun to change Splinter back. That's the only explanation that makes sense to me. Hopefully this video was able to help you conquer the Foot Clan and give Splinter his rightful human form back. If it did, make sure to give it a like, and make sure to subscribe for more videos, because the adventure of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is concluded, but we'll be back next week to tackle another game that you can beat. Thanks for watching.